Hi, this is James from Dumfries Computer Sales, and I just wanted to talk about Windows XP. I've decided not to run an experiment on XP just in case it infects my other computers, because you have to have it plugged into your router, and your other computers are plugged into the router, so if that becomes unsafe it may infect the other computers with the viruses that it may get, that XP computer may get. So I've decided against running this experiment. There are other options, is to get a dongle. I could try that, but then again the data usage on that's very small, and if I had it plugged in all the time, I don't know how it would work. I don't know if it's worth labour in it. Windows 7 is not expensive. I mean, you can put Windows 7 on for next to nothing, you know. Windows 8 runs on old computers as well, which is interesting. I had a couple of computers that were quite low spec. I'd like to get a single core computer and put Windows 8 on it. I'm sure it worked fine. I've only installed them on dual core machines, but they only had 2 gigs of RAM, which is an eye opener, because it ran fine. It ran really quick. It didn't really seem to make any difference to the performance of it. I'm sure there's some applications we've tried to do an awful lot on it, then it would struggle, but it seemed to work fine. I mean, if you've got an older computer and it's only got a couple of gigs of RAM or even a gig of RAM, and you want to go from XP, then I'd go to Windows 8. I wouldn't go to Windows 7. As much as I love Windows 7, I do really shout its praises, but I would go for Windows 8 on your older machine. If you've got a fairly decent machine running XP, then you're going to need 4 gigs, 3 or 4 gigs of RAM for Windows 7. So that means if your computer hasn't got that, you're going to have to go to 8 or buy a new computer, a Windows 7 computer or a Windows 8 computer. If you don't want Windows 8, then it's something you have to maybe try to go for a custom machine. I sell custom machines. I'm not plugging, I'm not spamming, but that's what I do. I like Windows 7. I would only put Windows 8 on if it was desperate. It's not something that I like. Personally, I don't like it. I don't know it yet. It's not a reliable, to me, it's not a tested operating system. Anyway, I'm not going to run the XP experiment. I don't think there's any point to it. I think it's just going to be unsafe. I don't think any antivirus companies will sponsor it. There might be some, but I think they'll charge the earth. So I don't know if it's going to be worth flogging it. I think you could work offline. You could just unplug it from the internet and just use it if you love it that much. Now, Windows 7 isn't far removed from it. It's not that much different. There's better graphics on Windows 7. Windows 7 is heavier, so like I said before, you're going to need more RAM and at least dual core to run Windows 7, and 3 or 4 gigs of RAM. Dual channel would be great because it increases the performance of the RAM. Anyway, I hope this has been informative. Just the XP, I think it's had its day. Unless Microsoft do a U-turn and start supporting it, you go for Windows 7, Windows 8. If you've got an old machine, put Windows 8 on it. If you've got a fairly decent machine, good spec, running Windows 7, dual core, 3 or 4 gigs of RAM, put Windows 7 on it. If it's got XP just now with that spec, put Windows 7 on. If you're struggling to do that, give me a call. Send me an email. I can put Windows 7 on quite inexpensively. It's not that dear to do, cheaper than a new computer. So contact me if it's something you'd be interested in. Thank you.